Who did it?
Yeah, I knew who did it shortly after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they are now where?
Oh, the guy who actually.
I remember Preem coming to the block one day, try to like sun 50 and rub his head.
You know what 50 did? Yeah.
That was the day I know Preem didn't like 50.
Now, back on May 24th, 2000, 50 Cent got caught in one of the wildest moments in rap history. He was shot 9 times in a drive-by right in front of his grandma's house in South Jamaica, Queens. Reports say 50 was just cooling outside when a car slid up, windows down, and someone inside started letting off shots. He got hit everywhere: hand, arm, hip, legs, chest, and even his face. It was straight chaos. He was rushed to the hospital in critical condition, fighting for his life while doctors worked through multiple surgeries just to keep him alive. News of the attack spread fast, shocking everyone who couldn't believe someone like 50, already buzzing with success, could get targeted like that. Later on, 50 opened up about how that moment changed everything for him. He said he realized just how close he came to death and decided he wasn't wasting his second chance. That shooting became the fire that pushed him to chase greatness even harder. The real reason behind the hit has always been cloudy. Some people said it was tied to the street hustle he used to be part of, while others claimed it came from personal beef that spiraled out of control. 50 always said the shooter was just a low-level dealer who ended up getting killed only 3 weeks later.
Who did it?
Yeah, I knew who did it shortly after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they are now where?
Oh, the guy who actually shot me is dead.
But things got even messier when court testimony came out, revealing that a 3-man hit squad was actually sent after him, all because of a song he dropped dissing drug kingpin Kenneth Supreme McGriff. John Ragg, who used to roll with McGriff, even testified that after the shooting, McGriff and 2 other gang members met up, making it clear this wasn't some random street drama. It was a planned hit that almost ended 50's life. When McGriff reportedly said, "I got him," it sent chills through the streets. But to really get what pushed things this far, we gotta rewind all the way back to the early 1980s, the rise of the Supreme team. This was the crew McGriff himself built from the ground up in South Jamaica, Queens, naming it after his own street alias, Supreme. Under his rule, the gang exploded in size, running the crack game heavy through the Baisley Park houses, the same place where McGriff grew up. This wasn't small-time business. They were raking in around $200,000 a day. That's major money for the streets. But in 1987, McGriff's empire hit a wall when he got sentenced to 12 years in prison. He caught a break and got out on parole in 1994, but trouble followed quick. By the end of that year, he was locked up again. It wasn't until 1997 that he finally cleared his charges and tried flipping the script, stepping into the music world. That's when he linked up with Ja Rule and the crew at Murder Inc. McGriff wasn't just hanging around, he became a key figure, providing muscle and protection for the label's artists. During this time, he and 50 Cent actually had a solid relationship. 50 wasn't a superstar yet, far from it. His rap career was barely holding on, and with money tight, he started looking for a way to make noise. Then came his bold move, the track How to Rob. 50 went off, calling the whole rap industry, name-dropping artists left and right just to stir attention and push his album sales. It worked, people were talking, but not everyone was laughing. Soon after came the infamous beef with Ja Rule. According to 50, his homie Troy had robbed Ja, and later when 50 ran into him at the club, he tried to clear things up, but Ja wasn't buying it. He thought 50 had something to do with the robbery. Ja later admitted the robbery really happened, but swore he never saw 50 with the guy who did it.
But it had nothing to do with him. Like, I didn't even know you know this dude.
That's when Supreme stepped in, trying to calm things down. 50 told Supreme to stop messing with Ja, and since Supreme was someone 50 deeply respected, he backed off, at least a little. But 50 couldn't keep quiet for long. He fired back in his song, Your Life's on the Line, cutting out a few bars out of respect for Preem, but still throwing shade, calling Ja a studio gangster who needed Supreme's help just to get his chain back.
I don't believe you're in the Preem to get your back. Why you want to approach me? Because you know I push shit back.
The tension was building fast, and it was about to explode. In 1999, tragedy struck hard for both Preem and 50 Cent. Their mutual friend, Black Just, lost his life in a chain of events that turned deadly. The story goes that rapper E Moneybags wanted to buy a car from Preem and had already dropped a deposit. But when E Moneybags later asked for his money back, Preem reportedly laughed it off, telling him to just forget about it. That didn't sit right with E Money, not at all. One day, E Moneybags opened fire on Preem while he was sitting in a car with Black Just. Bullets ripped through the vehicle, and Just got hit twice, including once in the thigh. Instead of rushing straight to the nearby hospital, Preem decided to drive back to the block and asked someone else to take Just to the ER. That fatal delay cost Black Just his life, and from that day forward, E Moneybags had serious enemies watching his every move.
Just like that. He said that wasn't for Just. I just looked at him, man, I say, E, that is Just. He's dead.
Meanwhile, the beef between Ja Rule and 50 Cent was still boiling hot. Preem was deep in Ja's corner, always trying to convince 50 to let it go, but 50 wasn't having it. He felt disrespected that Preem kept taking Ja's side, especially when Preem didn't even see 50 as someone who could blow up big. Why switch loyalty when Ja was already a hit-making superstar pulling in real money? That was Preem's mindset. Stick with what's working.
You personally, the people that you see like Irv, Ja, the people that are involved in the business aspect are.
Then came the breaking point, that club brawl that changed everything. Both Ja Rule and 50 Cent were performing at the same spot, and what started as tension turned into an all-out fight. In the chaos, 50 snatched Ja's chain and later flaunted it in his music video for Life's on the Line. That moment made it crystal clear. This wasn't just rap beef anymore. It was personal war. Naturally, when Ja lost his chain, he ran straight to Preem again, hoping he could get it back. But this time, things went a little differently. 50 Cent somehow walked away with a watch in exchange.
I eat you for breakfast, a watch was exchanged for your necklace. And your
In the streets, that kind of trade wasn't just about jewelry. It was a power move, a way of saying, I won. Preem was starting to lose patience with 50 Cent, though. He was sick of stepping in to clean up Ja's mess and watching his superstar's image get dragged through the mud. By this point, 50 had made it his mission to bring down Murder Inc. He didn't care who got caught in the crossfire, even if it meant going against someone he once respected like Preem. Their bond was crumbling fast. In an interview with XXL, 50 told a wild story. He said he heard Ja was filming over at the Coliseum area, so he grabbed his pistol, jumped on his motorcycle, and rode straight over there to check the situation himself.
When he got there, Preem was already on the scene and stopped him cold, saying, "Hey, come here, don't even do it, I see you." He pulled 50 aside, and 50 pressed him, asking, "Yo, what's up with this dude?" Preem just shut it down, telling him, Nah, I told you, leave him alone, man. You know they ain't gonna do nothing." Even Tony Yayo later spoke about how tense things got between 50 and Preem, saying that 50 showed he wasn't scared of him at all.
I remember Preem coming to the block one day and try to like sun 50 and rub his head.
You know what 50 did? Yeah, man. Do it back, yeah. Man.
That was the day I know Preem didn't like 50.
That's when everyone realized this wasn't respect anymore. It was pure defiance. To make it even more dangerous, 50 started hanging with some serious enemies of Preem. E Moneybags, Big Nose Troy, and Green Eye Boar. All of them had deep-rooted beef with Preem, and 50 rolling with them was like declaring war. Then came the breaking point, the release of Ghetto Quran. That track was explosive. When the song leaked and Kareem Preem McGriff got his hands on it, he was furious. In the lyrics, 50 dropped names and mentioned Preem directly, which was seen as a major sign of disrespect in the streets.
Fear Prince and respect the Preem. For you slow, I'ma break it down illa. Supreme was the businessman and Prince was the...
From that moment on, things between them weren't just bad, they were dangerous. 50 Cent always said that plenty of rappers had talked about Supreme McGriff and his street legacy before, and Preem never had a problem with it. In fact, he seemed cool with it, even proud that his name and his crew, the Supreme Team, would get him shouted out in rap songs. But when 50 mentioned him in Ghetto Quran, everything changed. Preem didn't take it as a salute, he took it as disrespect, and that flipped the whole situation upside down. Other street figures around New York understood that 50's lyrics were more of a tribute to the old street legends, not a call-out, but Preem wasn't hearing that. Then things got even tenser. Word spread that someone almost took Supreme out at a gas station, and he became convinced that 50 was behind it. That's when Preem allegedly decided it was time to handle his enemies, with 50 Cent at the top of the list. According to reports, Preem hired Darrell Homicide Bomb, also known as Homo, who used to work as Mike Tyson's bodyguard, to take 50 out, and he paid him big money to do it. Not long after, 50 was ambushed and shot 9 times, nearly losing his life. Even though he somehow survived, the attack left both physical and emotional scars that would shape the rest of his story forever. Now, for those who don't know who Darrell Hamo Baum was, here's the backstory. After Mike Tyson easily defeated Lou Savarese, nicknamed Lucifer by fans, in the first round, Tyson was prepping for a massive fight against Lennox Lewis, one of the biggest showdowns in boxing history. Before that fight, Tyson did one of his intense pre-fight promo interviews, and in a shocking, emotional moment, he dedicated it to his fallen friend, saying it was for Darrell Baum.
There's no one can stop me. Lennox is a conqueror. No, I'm Alexander. He's no Alexander. I'm the best ever. There's never been anybody ruthless. There's no one that can match me. My style is impetuous.
Mike, was that your shortest fight ever?
I bear witness there's only one God, and Muhammad, blessings and peace be upon him, is his prophet. I dedicate this fight to my brother, Darrell Baum, who died.
That tribute hit hard. It showed just how deep Hamo's connections ran, both in the streets and the celebrity world. Darrell Hamo Baum wasn't just Mike Tyson's bodyguard. He was also the man who nearly ended 50 Cent's life just months after getting out of prison from a 10-year sentence. Hamo's story could have changed the entire course of hip-hop history, but instead, he became another casualty in a street war that wiped out almost his whole crew. Hamo came up in the rough Lafayette Gardens projects in Brooklyn, and his name didn't come from anything friendly. It came from his rep. People said he earned it because he was notorious for knocking people out cold with one punch and then robbing them when he was still a teenager. Standing only about 5'7" and walking with a limp, Hamo didn't look intimidating, but everyone in the streets knew not to test him. His name carried real weight. So how did a Brooklyn stick-up kid end up rolling within Mike Tyson? The two actually met in juvenile detention back when both were young and wild. Life sent him in different directions. Mike rose to become a heavyweight champion, while Hamo spent most of the 1990s behind bars for robbery and other charges. When Hamo finally got out on New Year's Eve 1999, Tyson didn't turn his back on him. Knowing how tough it was to adjust after doing time, Mike looked out. He gave Hamo a car, cash, a Rolex, and even a job as his personal bodyguard. But word on the street was that Hamo didn't like living off handouts. He wanted to make his own money, his own way, and that's where things got dark again. Not long after, Hamo linked up with the Peanut Crew, a Brooklyn street gang, and eventually reconnected with Kenneth Supreme McGriff, one of the most feared names in Queens. Even though Hamo was already 34 years old and the streets were packed with younger, hungrier hustlers, he still made his presence felt fast. He started pressuring local dealers to move product for him and showed everyone that he was still a major player. At the same time, Hamo was reportedly living in Tyson's mansion in Connecticut, the same mansion that 50 Cent would later buy after his success. That twist of fate made the connection between all three men, Tyson, Hamo, and 50, feel almost unreal, like destiny playing out in the most dangerous way possible. After the beef between 50 Cent and Supreme McGriff exploded beyond control, things took a deadly turn. Supreme allegedly put out a hit order on 50, and what happened next became one of the most infamous moments in hip-hop history. On May 24, 1990, 50 Cent stepped out of his grandmother's house in South Jamaica, Queens. His son was inside, his grandmother was out front, and 50 was just about to get into the back seat of a car parked outside. That's when another car pulled up quietly, and a man walked up to the window, gun in hand. Without warning, he opened fire, unloading 9 shots from a 9mm pistol straight at 50. He got hit in the hand, arm, hip, both legs, chest, and even his left cheek. Just a few inches higher and it would have been over. He wouldn't have made it. The attack was brutal and shook the whole neighborhood. Somehow 50 survived, and after 3 weeks in the hospital and multiple surgeries, he pulled through like a warrior. His comeback became rap legend, the story of a man who got shot 9 times and still lived to tell it, literally. 3 years later, 50 dropped the track Many Men, where he hinted that Hamo, Darrell Homicide Baum, was the shooter.
What goes around comes around. Hamo shot me, 3 weeks later he got shot down.
By that time though, Hamo was already dead, and it had nothing to do with 50's revenge. His death came 3 weeks after the shooting, but from all reports, the timing was just coincidence. The streets were that chaotic. At the time he died, Hamo was rolling with the Peanut Crew, led by Ivory Peanut Davis and James J.R. Hamilton. The year before, in June 1999, tension in Lafayette Gardens projects was boiling between rival crews. That's where Myron Wise Hardy, a member of the Cash Money Brothers, CMB, was causing waves that would ignite a violent turf war. The CMB crew, founded in 1991, was run by Myron and his locked-up brother, Damian World Hardy, who controlled much of the crack trade in Bed-Stuy's Lafayette Gardens. Damian's reputation was growing fast. He was feared, unpredictable, and already known for having a mean streak. Back in 1998, he got into it at a Brooklyn roller skating rink where a bouncer named Michael Collin threw him out for causing trouble. That moment might have seemed small, but in the streets, even the smallest insult could spiral into deadly consequences. And soon, that incident would light another fire in Brooklyn's already dangerous underworld. The streets of Brooklyn were drowning in blood after Damian World Hardy decided to strike back. When Damian was still behind bars and heard that his brother Myron Wise Hardy had been killed, he lost it. He vowed revenge on the entire Peanut crew, no matter who got caught in the crossfire. Even Daryl Hamo, who was already locked up at the time of Myron's murder, ended up on Damian's hit list. The alleged shooter in Myron's murder was said to be Ramel Davis, the nephew of Peanut Davis, and that connection lit the fuse for one of the most violent summers Brooklyn had ever seen. Damian put his top enforcer, Aaron eBay Granton, on charge of taking out Peanut and his whole crew, and once the orders dropped, the killing spree began. The first hit came fast. Dwayne Thor Myers and Gerard Kojak Mackins were attacked inside the vestibule of the same Lafayette Gardens building where Myron Hardy was gunned down earlier. Mackins, who was tied to the Peanut crew, was suspected of being the one who supplied Ramel Davis with the gun used in Myron's murder. So when the bullets flew, nobody was surprised. It was pure retaliation. Then, around 2 a.m. on June 10, 2000, Hamo was lured to the corner of Quincy Street and Marcy Avenue by a woman. Sitting in his car, probably thinking it was just another late-night meetup, Hamo had no idea it was a setup. Out of nowhere, eBay crept up to the driver's side window and shot him in the back of the head, killing him instantly. Just like that, Hamo's brief return to Brooklyn streets was over. Word spread quick. The same guy who nearly took out 50 Cent was now gone. When Mike Tyson heard about it, he was devastated. Mike covered all of Hamo's funeral costs, showing how much loyalty he still had for his fallen friend. But the bloodshed didn't stop there. On August 1st, Junior Hamilton, one of Peanut's right-hand man, was shot inside Filet of Soul, a seafood spot he owned. Just days later, on August 10th at about 4 a.m., eBay tracked down Peanut Davis himself at Club NV in Soho. Peanut sat in his Range Rover. eBay walked up and shot him twice in the back of the head. Panicking and badly wounded, Peanut slammed on the gas, trying to escape, but he lost control and hit Johan Comet, 38-year-old award-winning Swedish filmmaker who was walking on the sidewalk. Johan, best known for directing the music videos The Wannabe and Save Tonight, later died at the hospital, while Peanut was pronounced dead at the scene. Still, CMB wasn't finished yet. By 2002, the violence kept spreading. When Tyrone T-Rock Bomb, Daryl Hamo's older brother, got out of prison, and his release would reopen wounds that the streets had never healed from. When Tyrone T-Rock Bomb got out of prison, he was ready to make noise, but he made a fatal mistake. He couldn't stop talking openly about avenging his brother Daryl Hamo's death. That kind of talk doesn't stay quiet in the streets. Word travels fast, and once CMB members heard about his plans for payback, they struck first. One night, near a construction site, T-Rock was ambushed and shot 3 times in the head. It was a cold reminder that in the game, talking too much can cost you your life. Meanwhile, Damian World Hardy was living a wild double life, part feared street boss, part celebrity boyfriend. In 2002, he started dating Lil' Kim, and they even got engaged for a short time. The irony was almost unreal. Back in 1995, Lil' Kim's music video for Junior Mafia hit Get Money had featured Peanut Davis, Damian's slain enemy, as her love interest. That connection alone had people whispering all over New York. But But it didn't stop there. Lil' Kim had also dated Myron Wise Hardy, Damien's brother, who was known for being violent toward her, allegedly even breaking her nose. That brutal moment would later lead to the plastic surgery Lil' Kim became famous for. Twisted web between love, loyalty, and revenge just kept getting darker. Then things got completely out of control. In September 2003, Damien World Hardy reportedly got into a shootout with 50 Cent's security team outside a DoubleTree hotel in New Jersey. Tension traced back to earlier that same year when Damien confronted 50 after he threw shade at Lil' Kim in a Hot 97 interview in New York. The streets were buzzing, two worlds colliding, hip-hop fame and hardcore street beef. By April 2005, the madness reached another level. The New York Daily News reported that Damien World Hardy had allegedly put a $50,000 bounty on Mike Tyson's head. Why? He believed Tyson had something to do with Hamo's death, and he wanted payback. According to sources, CMB members even tracked Tyson and once spotted him sitting in a Range Rover in Crown Heights. But when the time came, they backed off. They couldn't pull the trigger because, like them, Tyson was a Muslim.
Tyson was never charged with anything connected to the supposed hit plot, but it showed just how deep and twisted the web of loyalty and revenge had become. The line between the boxing ring and the block had completely vanished. Eventually, Damien World Hardy couldn't outrun the law anymore. After years of ducking the feds, he was finally caught in 2015. He was found guilty of ordering 6 murders and sentenced to life without parole. His top enforcer, Aaron eBay Granton, also got 6 life sentences, sealing the end of one of Brooklyn's deadliest eras. It's wild when you think about it. Most people would dream of living off a multi-millionaire friend like Mike Tyson, riding the wave of fame and luxury. But for Daryl Hamo Baum, pull of the street life was too strong. In the end, it didn't matter how close he was to greatness. The streets took everything back. Daryl Hamo Baum missed the game way too much to walk away. Even with all the chances he was given, the money, the fame, and the connections, he still dived right back into the danger he once ruled. The streets had a grip on him that no one, not even Mike Tyson, could break. In the end, Hamo's story became a cold reminder of how fast life in the streets can turn deadly. No matter how close you get to power, one wrong move in that world can seal your fate forever. Now let's bring it back to 50 Cent, the one who somehow cheated death and turned his pain into power. While 50 survived, not everyone connected to that story did. In July 2001, E. Moneybags was found dead inside his Lincoln Navigator, shot multiple times. The streets had their own theories. Some said it was payback for the killing of Black Just, while others claimed it was revenge for robbing Murder Inc.'s CEO Irv Gotti and rapper Ja Rule. Just 3 months later, Big Nose Troy, another name tied to that same circle, was also gunned down. By then, the streets were drowning in revenge, and the walls were closing in on Kenneth Supreme McGriff. By 2002, cops finally had enough to arrest McGriff on several federal charges. During the court investigation, Supreme even brought up 50 Cent's song Ghetto Quran, claiming it linked 50 to street business. But when detectives asked 50 for more details about what he meant in the song, he didn't flinch. He simply said, "Listen to the record." That response became classic 50, cold, confident, and untouchable. Then came 2003, and 50 dropped the legendary track Many Men, where he mentioned Hamo by name. That song became one of his most emotional and powerful records ever, a raw story of survival and vengeance. And years later, even new school rappers felt the impact. In 2020, both Pop Smoke and 21 Savage released songs that paid tribute to Many Men.
Don't cry no more, I don't look to the sky no more. Many men wanna me, dog, I feel like 50.
Proving that 50's legacy still hits hard today. As the police dug deeper, more pieces started falling into place. Investigators discovered that Hamo Baum's death wasn't random. It was tied to a grudge with a rival gang, led by none other than Damien World Hardy, ex-boyfriend of Lil' Kim. That connection tied almost every name in this deadly saga back together. Music, money, and murder, all twisted into one long feud. Meanwhile, Irv Gotti, the man behind Murder Inc. Records, started feeling the heat too. In 2003, federal agents launched an investigation that put his entire label at risk. By 2005, Gotti was charged with laundering money for Supreme McGriff, a move that could have ended his empire for good. But when it all went to trial, The jury found him not guilty, clearing his name completely. Still, even though Gotti walked free, Supreme McGriff wasn't so lucky. His world was falling apart, his crew was gone, his empire shattered, and the law was finally catching up. The same man who once ruled Queens like a king was now facing a future behind bars, proving that no one, no matter how powerful, can outrun the consequences of the street life. Eventually, Kenneth Supreme McGriff met the same fate that so many of his peers did: life behind bars. He was convicted of drug racketeering and murder for hire in New York federal court, and prosecutors didn't hold back. Using testimony from a hitman, along with text messages and video evidence, they proved that McGriff had allegedly paid $50,000 to have a man killed. With all of Supreme's and Irv Gotti's assets seized, McGriff couldn't even afford his own lawyer. He was assigned a court-appointed attorney, and on April 9, 2007, the once feared kingpin of Queens was officially sentenced to life in prison. Even from behind bars, Supreme wasn't quiet. He later accused 50 Cent of being a snitch, claiming that 50's cooperation with law enforcement somehow played a role in his sentence, but 50 flat-out denied any involvement.
The snitch at in the documentary. I'm not in that case.
Yeah.
There's nothing about nothing. All he says is, he know me, he know what that was about.
Saying he had nothing to do with McGriff's downfall. The whole saga, from the rise of the Supreme Team to the fallout with 50 Cent, was later chronicled in a documentary series titled Supreme Team, released in 2022 and directed by none other than Nas. It gave fans and historians a raw, inside look at how the streets, music, and loyalty all collided in one of hip-hop's wildest true stories. The shooting of 50 Cent didn't just wound him physically, it completely reshaped his public image. Before the attack, he was mostly known for his raw talent and gritty lyrics, but after surviving 9 gunshots, 50 became a symbol of strength and survival. The world didn't just see him as a rapper anymore. They saw him as a man who literally beat death. That near-fatal moment gave his music more weight and made his story unforgettable. 50 started calling himself a survivor, using his pain as motivation, proof that no matter how bad things get, you can rise above it. His resilience inspired millions of fans who were fighting their own battles. In 2012, during an episode of Oprah's Next Chapter, 50 revisited the exact spot where his life almost ended. Standing there, he shared a vivid memory of that terrifying day, saying, "I arrived around 12 o'clock in the afternoon on May 24th. My grandmother was in the yard planting flowers. I moved over to get in the car where my friend was waiting, and suddenly a car pulled up next to us. A guy stepped out from the passenger seat, came around the car, and started shooting through the car."
That single moment, those seconds of chaos, didn't just change 50 Cent's life, it reshaped his destiny, transforming him from a street hustler with a dream into one of hip-hop's most powerful and unstoppable icons. The shooting of 50 Cent didn't just change his life, it shook the entire hip-hop community. It forced artists and fans alike to take a hard look at the real dangers that came with living that street lifestyle, especially in tough neighborhoods like South Jamaica, Queens. The attack wasn't just another headline, it became a wake-up call. For years, rap had flirted with the image of the hustle, the drugs, the guns, the grind, but 50's story showed the other side of it: pain, blood, and consequences that came with that world. After what happened, more people in hip-hop started questioning how far the glorification of violence in rap should go, and how it was shaping the next generation. Though while the world debated, 50 Cent turned his trauma into triumph. Instead of letting the shooting define him as a victim, he flipped it into power. His career exploded, and his bulletproof image made him one of the toughest, most unstoppable figures in the game. From there, Curtis 50 Cent Jackson built an empire, not just in music, but across industries most rappers never even touched. He became the definition of a hustler turned mogul, showing everyone that survival and success can go hand in hand. 50's business grind reached everywhere: music, movies, fashion, television, liquor, tech, and fitness. He's dabbled in artist management, record production, film and TV creation, clothing, footwear,
fragrances, video games, headphones, mobile apps, publishing, and even health drinks and supplements. There's almost no lane he hasn't stepped into and conquered. His first major move came in 2003 when he launched his own label, G-Unit Records, right after blowing up in the rap scene. That wasn't just a label, it was the start of a brand empire. By November of that same year, he sealed a 5-year deal with Reebok to drop his G-Unit sneakers, part of his G-Unit clothing company. It was genius marketing. 50 didn't just sell music, he sold a lifestyle. He built a global brand around his G-Unit identity, using that tough persona that made him famous to dominate in fashion too. But 50 wasn't done yet. In 2007, he leveled up again by launching his own book publishing imprint, G-Unit Books. He went from rapper to author, sharing his story in his memoir, From Pieces to Weight, which sold 73,000 copies in hardcover and another 14,000 in paperback. The book gave fans a real, unfiltered look into his life before fame, the struggle, the hustle, and the mindset that kept him pushing. From the block to the boardroom, 50 Cent showed that survival isn't just about living through bullets, it's about turning pain into power. Every deal, every move, and every business venture became another way for him to prove that you can rise from the streets and still build an empire on your own terms. 50 Cent didn't just stop at building an empire. He went on to rewrite the rule book of success. One of his most respected projects came in the form of a book he co-authored with Robert Greene, the mastermind behind the 48 Laws of Power. Their collaboration, titled The 50th Law, was an urban spin on power, fearlessness, and street smarts. It mixed Greene's psychological insight with 50's real-life lessons from the hustle, turning it into a must-read for anyone chasing success in a cutthroat world. Then in 2011, 50 surprised everyone again by dropping a young adult novel called Playground. The book told the story of a bullied boy and his gay mother tackling tough social issues with honesty and empathy. It showed a completely different side of 50, one that was thoughtful, creative, and willing to address the kinds of struggles kids face every day. But one of his biggest business wins came from a deal that nobody saw coming, his partnership with Glacé, the company behind vitamin water. In 2004, 50 first heard about the brand while at a gym in Los Angeles. He tried it, loved it, and didn't just want to be a spokesperson, he wanted ownership. So he became a minority shareholder and even helped create a new grape-flavored variant called Formula 50. He pushed the drink everywhere, in his songs, interviews, and videos, turning it into one of the most recognizable brands in the world. And when Coca-Cola bought Glacé for $4.1 billion in 2007, 50's smart play paid off big time. According to Forbes, he walked away with an estimated $100 million after taxes. That single move solidified him as one of the savviest businessmen in hip-hop history. But 50 wasn't done making moves. He then turned his attention to television, where he proved that his talent wasn't limited to music or money. As a co-star, co-creator, and executive producer of the Starz network drama Power, he showed the world he could run Hollywood too. His gritty performance and behind-the-scenes influence made the show a cultural phenomenon. 50's deal with Starz came with a lucrative 2-year contract backed by one of the biggest talent agencies in the game, the Agency for the Performing Arts. When Power premiered, it became a massive hit, and by the second season, it shattered records with 1.43 million viewers tuning in live. That moment proved that 50 Cent wasn't just a survivor, he was a storyteller, businessman, and visionary who knew how to turn real-life struggle into global success.
The success of Power didn't just make waves, it cemented 50 Cent's legacy as a true powerhouse in the TV world. When the original series wrapped up in 2020, most people thought it was over. But 50 had bigger plans. He wasn't about to walk away from a winning formula. Instead, he expanded the Power universe, taking the story even further through multiple spin-offs: Power Book 2, Ghost, Power Book 3, Raising Kanan,
and Power Book 4, Force. Each new chapter carried that same raw energy that made the original so addictive. These shows didn't just continue the story, they proved 50's genius as a producer, showing he could build a television empire just as strong as his music empire. But 50 Cent's impact goes way beyond entertainment. He's also shown a deep commitment to giving back. In July 2011, he launched a powerful humanitarian mission aimed at fighting global hunger with a bold goal to help feed 1 billion people in Africa by 2016. To make it happen, he teamed up with Pure Growth Partners to create Street King Energy, an energy drink with a cause. The concept was simple but game-changing. For every bottle sold, a portion of the proceeds would go toward feeding an underprivileged child. 50 wanted to make sure the movement was sustainable, turning every sip into a step toward ending hunger. Chris Clark, the founder and CEO of Pure Growth Partners, shared 50's vision for tackling global issues through innovative, socially responsible business models. Clark emphasized that the mission wasn't just about money, it was about saving lives and proving that powerful brands could also bring real change to the world. From the streets of Queens to global philanthropy, 50's evolution has been nothing short of legendary. And let's not forget his stats. Over 30 million albums sold worldwide, a Grammy, a Primetime Emmy, 13 Billboard Music Awards, 6 World Music Awards, 3 American Music Awards, and 4 BET Awards. That's not just success, that's dominance. His acting career kicked off with the semi-autobiographical movie Get Rich or Die Trying in 2005, which, while not a critic's favorite, marked his bold entry into Hollywood. He later appeared in Home of the Brave 2006 and Righteous Kill 2008 alongside Hollywood legends, proving he could hold his own on screen too. Even years later, his legacy keeps growing. In 2023, Billboard ranked him 17th on their list of the 50 greatest rappers of all time and crowned him the 6th top artist of the 2000s. Meanwhile, Rolling Stone paid major respect to his debut album Get Rich or Die Trying and his smash hit In the Club, ranking them among the 100 best albums of the 2000s and the 100 best songs of the 2000s, sitting at number 37 and number 13 respectively. From being shot 9 times in front of his grandma's house to becoming a music mogul, actor, producer, author, and philanthropist, 50 Cent's story is pure grind, grit, and glory. He turned pain into purpose, built an empire from scratch, and showed the world that no bullet, no setback, and no critic could ever stop him. And that wraps up this incredible journey through one of hip-hop's most powerful life stories. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more wild true stories, share this video with your crew, and drop a comment letting us know your favorite 50 Cent moment. Stay tuned, because we've got even more untold stories coming your way soon.